Our world is so loud, isn't it? It feels like there's noise everywhere. Phones are always buzzing, notifications pop up, music plays in every store, conversations overlap. It can be a lot, too much sometimes. I started to feel this deep longing, a real craving for true, deep quiet, a space where my mind could just be. I needed a break from all the constant chatter. I was feeling incredibly overwhelmed. My brain felt like a web browser. With way too many tabs open, it was hard to focus, hard to think clearly. I felt scattered, and a little bit lost, honestly. I knew I needed something drastic, something to help me reset, to clear out all that mental clutter, and find a little bit of peace inside myself. Then, I heard about this challenge, the 72-hour silent challenge. Wow, 3 whole days, no talking, at all. It sounded pretty intense, maybe a little scary. But something inside me lit up. Yes, a little voice whispered, you need this. It felt like an invitation, a challenge to myself. Could I really do it? Could I face the silence? I knew I had to try this thing. So, I made the decision. I was all in. I committed to 72 hours of silence. A mix of excitement and nerves bubbled up. Part of me was thrilled, ready for the adventure. Another part was definitely a bit anxious. What would it be like? Would I go stir-crazy? How would I handle not speaking for so long? It was a big step, but I was ready for it, ready to discover what silence had to teach me. The main rule was simple, yet so huge. No talking, for 72 hours straight. Not a single word, not a whisper, not a hum. This meant no verbal communication with anyone, no phone calls, no voice notes, nothing. It was all about embracing complete vocal silence. This was the core of the entire experience, the foundation upon which everything else rested. It sounded easy, but I knew it would be tough. But the rules didn't stop there. Oh no. It wasn't just about not speaking, it was about minimizing all external verbal input too. So, no listening to music with lyrics, no podcasts, no TV shows or movies with dialogue. The idea was to create a truly silent environment, as much as humanly possible anyway. This meant being really mindful of what I consumed. It was a full sensory reset in a way. Of course, life doesn't stop for a challenge, so I had to plan for essential communication. I let my family and close friends know beforehand. I'm going silent for 3 days, I told them. For emergencies, I had a notepad and pen ready, a simple way to write things down if needed. But the goal was to use even that sparingly. The point was to disconnect from the usual ways, and find new ways to be with myself. Preparation was key. I can't stress this enough. I made sure my fridge was stocked with food. I gathered books I wanted to read, plain, simple books. I created a cozy, comfortable space for myself, a sanctuary where I could just be. I turned off notifications on my phone. I mentally prepared for the quiet, for the solitude. It felt like I was getting ready for a retreat, a personal retreat, right in my own home. The first few hours were interesting. Suddenly everything was so quiet, so still. The urge to speak was surprisingly strong. I'd think of something funny, and want to say it. Or I'd want to ask a question out loud. My mind kept reaching for words, old habits, right? It was like a little itch I couldn't scratch. I realized how much I talk without thinking, how much I fill space with sound. Then came the struggles, and they were real. Sometimes I felt a wave of loneliness. The silence felt heavy, almost suffocating at times. Little frustrations became magnified, like trying to open a tricky jar without sighing. Unexpected emotions surfaced, memories popped up, things I hadn't thought about in ages. It was like the silence was making space for all the buried stuff to come out and play. But then, the breakthroughs started to happen. Slowly but surely they did. I started noticing things I'd never noticed before. The way the sunlight hit the floor, the sound of the wind outside my window. My senses felt heightened, sharper, more alive. I found new ways to communicate with myself. Through writing, through just being present. Moments of deep clarity washed over me. Pure bliss. My mind began to quiet down. For real. The constant internal chatter started to fade. It didn't disappear completely, of course, but it became less demanding, less loud. I found a sense of peace in the stillness. A comfort in the quiet I hadn't expected. My body relaxed. My breathing deepened. It was like I was finally giving myself permission to just be, without the need to perform. When the 72 hours were finally up, wow, it felt a little strange to speak again. My first words were soft, almost hesitant. I spoke to my partner, just a simple hello. It sounded different, my own voice. There was a new appreciation for sound, for connection through words. It was profound. The world sounded brighter, more vibrant. It was like hearing everything for the first time. My immediate reflections were powerful. I realized how much noise I lived with, both external noise and internal noise. The silence had shown me that so clearly. I learned that I am stronger than I thought. I could face discomfort. I could sit with myself. And that was a huge confidence boost, you know? I also realized how much I didn't need to say. Some thoughts are fine, just staying thoughts. The long-term impact has been incredible. I have a new appreciation for silence now. I actively seek it out. I crave it. It's no longer something to avoid, it's a gift. I find myself listening more intently to others, really hearing them, not just waiting for my turn to speak. My communication has become more mindful, more intentional. I think before I speak. More often anyway. It's like the challenge recalibrated my inner settings. This experience truly transformed my perspective on life, on noise, on my own inner world. It taught me the power of stillness, the importance of disconnecting to reconnect. It showed me that so much clarity can come when we just give ourselves space to be quiet. If you're feeling overwhelmed or just curious, maybe just maybe a little silence is calling you too. It's a journey worth taking. Trust me on that.